Good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry. Happy Mother's Day to each of you. And I'm so sorry. I'm still dealing with whatever this is going on in my throat. But I could not let this day go without me sharing something with you. Happy Mother's Day. Some level of soul food that I can offer to you today. Um, so, happy Mother's Day to those of you who are mothers who have physically given birth to children, and happy Mother's Day to those of you who are mothers of the heart, right? You're nurturers, and um, you have children that you've birthed from your heart and your spirit. Happy Mother's Day to you as well. So today I wanted to just talk for a few minutes because I don't know how long my voice will last. But I want to talk to you today about the faith of a mother, right? And um, I know that this day invokes a myriad, plethora, variety of emotions for so many. There are those of us whose mothers are no longer with us here in the physical realm, and we deal with that. Um, and for those of you who are experiencing their first Mother's Day without your mom, I know it can be challenging. I know it can be challenging. Um, and in standard Jamie Green tradition, I encourage you to feel what you feel, right? And to don't try to, push it down. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like screaming, scream. Whatever works for you. My lighting is not that great in here, um, but oh well. Hopefully you can see me. So whatever you're feeling, that's what you're feeling, right? If you are, I'm sorry, if you're in pain today, missing your mom, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're in pain, you're in pain. You miss your mom, you miss your mom. It is what it is. Um, my mother has been gone now since 2011, and I still have those days when it seems almost like yesterday. And so you just feel that, right? There are those of you whose mothers are ill and you're not able to spend the time with them to do the things with them that you like to do. I want to encourage you today. There is, and there are us who are mothers that sometimes we feel like we come up short, right? We feel like we haven't done all that we could have done for our children. I'm sorry, that we haven't done all that we could have done for our children. And, you carry that guilt, you carry that weight of, I should have done better, I should have done this, I should have done that. But today I want to speak to your heart and to feed your soul with um, no matter the state of your relationship with your children, no matter what's going on with your children, if they are adult children and they've made decisions that you wish they had not made, just remember that you probably made decisions that your parents wish you hadn't made as well, right? But life goes on. So I just wanted to stop in and encourage you all on this Mother's Day, um, and especially mothers, right? There is a gift, a divine gift that we have received from the Creator, a gift of faith, okay? And thank you so much, Mutima. I love you, girl. And remember, your mom is still with you, even if you can't touch her physically. She's walking with you. She's speaking through you, right? And guiding you as you continue your journey. And so I want to speak about the faith of a mother because a mother sees things that are not seen by others, right? And as I was studying and reading today, I thought about a couple of mothers in the Bible. But most of you know that Jamie Green Marketplace Ministries is not a traditional religious organization, right? So I don't speak from just biblical quotes and biblical scripture. I speak from life. Okay, that's what the marketplace is about, is ministering to and reaching people where they are. Okay, outside of the church walls, outside of religious constraints. We minister to people the love of God, and we teach biblical applications, but we also teach life applications, right? So today, I know that there are many mothers who are experiencing I wish I had done better. I wish I had done things differently, especially those of us who have children who are incarcerated. That is my area. That is um, my assignment in many things that I do is to address mothers and families of incarcerated people. And one of the things that I hear a lot from mothers is I feel like it's my fault that my child is incarcerated. I feel like it's my fault. I feel the guilt. I feel the shame. I feel the societal embarrassment or whatever. I want to speak to you today as well to release that negative energy, to release that guilt and the shame, right? Um, Everybody makes their own life choices. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But all you can do is be there to support them wherever they are. As most of you know, my son is incarcerated, and we have been since January uh, doing this whole back and forth thing with the Department of Corrections, trying to get his parole. Um, and I'm not going into a whole lot of details about that here, but as a mom, I will continue to fight this situation until my child is home, right? Because that's what mothers do. And so I wanted to talk to you today about a mother's faith. And a couple of mothers that come to my mind from the Bible would be one would be Moses' mother, right? Remember Exodus chapter 2, verses 1 through 8 talks about Moses' mother and how she had the faith to release her son into the water because the Pharaoh was looking to kill all of the boys, the male children, under the age of 2, right? So she had the faith to release her son into the water, believing that God would divinely intervene and somehow her child would be saved, right? So we read the story, Exodus chapter 2, of how she released him into the water, and Pharaoh's daughter ended up being the person who found him and raised him. But it was because of the mother's faith that God would somehow uh, protect her child, that he ended up in Pharaoh's house, right? A mother's faith. Another woman in the Bible that I use a lot when I speak to about a mother's cry. Um, Absolutely. Oh my God, Mutima, you said it. As a mother, there will always be times in your life in the motherhood experience, right, where you have to release your child. in some way or another, on some level or another, you have to release that child to pursue the journey. It may not be the journey that you would have chosen for them. My son and I have been talking a lot lately about the growth and development and maturity that he's experienced since he's been incarcerated. And I reached a point where I had to release him as well. And I had to trust that God would protect him and would cover him, and that part of his journey would also end up being a part of his ministry, right? And so we are already talking about things that we're going to do when he comes home with regard to sharing the redemption that has occurred since he's been incarcerated. So, yes, there are absolutely parts of our journey as mothers when we must release our child, just as Moses' mother did. She didn't know where her child was going to end up, but she released him, trusting that God would protect him and he would end up where he was supposed to be. I've had to do the same thing with my youngest son. I've had to release him as well because you want to baby them, you want to protect them, you always want to I'm sorry, keep them safe. You want to do all that, but life is not always about that, right? Sometimes you have to release them and let them go. Another woman that in the Bible that always means a lot to me, her story means so much to me, is Hagar. Because in Genesis chapter 16 and in Genesis 21, we see where Hagar had her own personal encounters with an angel that ministered to her at the point of her need, right? This is what I'm saying, and I keep going back to this with the purpose of the marketplace ministry is to minister to people, to meet people at the point of their need without your religious philosophies and theories and walls. We have to meet people where they are and minister to them there. Hagar was in the wilderness, all right? The second time she had an encounter with the angel was in Genesis chapter 21. She had, for the second time, had been put out of Abram's and Sarah's house with her and her son. She saw they had drank all the water, they had eaten all the food, and so she set him up under a bush to protect him from the sun, and she sat a little ways off from him so that she could watch him. Isn't that what we do as mothers? Even when we realize we don't really have control over a situation that pertains to our children, excuse me, we still want to be kind of like in where we can see them, where we can still put our eyes on them, where we can still know what's going on with them, right? So Hagar sat a little ways off from her son. And the Bible says that the son was crying, of course, because he's hungry and he's thirsty and he's hot. But the focus was on Hagar was crying. And the scripture says that the angel came to Hagar, right? So when a mother cries, when her voice is raised on behalf of her children, the angel came to her and asked what was wrong, what was going on. And this is my mantra. When a mother cries, when mothers cry, right? Nations rise up. When mothers cry, there's a divine response to our cries. And our cries are not just about tears. Our cry is also our voice. It is also the expression of our heart, right? And so when she cried, as she cried for her son, she didn't know what was going to happen with him. The angel responded, and her life and that of her child was saved. A mother sees what is unseen, right? She didn't know for sure what the detail, how it was going to work out, but she trusted that God was going to intervene. Something was going to happen to save her child. Even in our times of when we are broken and we cry, right? And there's nothing wrong with admitting sometimes I just don't know what to do. I'm just overwhelmed. But one of the things I know about us as mothers is that we will take a little bit of something and turn it into to what we need, right? Like you take a pound of beef or turkey and you just look at it, it's just a pound of beef or a pound of turkey, right? Ground beef. But what do? You turn it into a pot of spaghetti. You turn it into meatloaf, right? You feed your family. A mother will walk into a broken down, empty space, um, a structure that needs a lot of work. And what does a mother do? She turns that space into a home for her family. Yes, Fatima, when mothers cry, nations rise up. And we have got to realize and remember that when we raise our voices at mothers, it's not just about our children. We are crying out for the entire nation. I say this all the time. I am a mother of many, two. I only gave birth to two, but I'm a mother of many because that's divinely the divine structure of being a mother. When I cry, nations respond. And as my organization grows, as my ministry grows, more and more people are becoming aware of a mother's cry. And more people are becoming aware of Jamie Green Marketplace Ministries, and they are responding. We are reaching people that we may never ever meet physically, but they are responding to our call. They're responding to our voice. And this is why I constantly ask for your support. I constantly ask for you to connect with the ministry, both the marketplace ministry and their Mother's Cry, because it's not just about me. It's not just about my needs. It's not just about my children, but we have a whole world, nations that we have to meet and to minister to. And I need you to help me to do that. As I was writing this notes for today, I thought about George Floyd, right? Still trying to get this ginger tea to work. I thought about George Floyd and I thought about, we all saw the video. As disturbing as it was and still is for me to watch the video of that cop's knee on that boy's neck. And the cop had his hand in his pocket, very nonchalant, staring into the camera, right? No feeling, no whatever. And we know that in his last moments, with his last breath, that George Floyd cried out for his mother. The reality is that George Floyd's mother had already transitioned into the ancestral realm at that time. It wasn't like she was standing in the crowd and she could run over to help save him. But in his most desperate moments, as the breath was leaving his body, out of all the names he could have called, out of all the words he could have spoken, he cried for his mama. Why? Because mama is always seen as a person who will make a way out of no way, right? I imagine that he was calling out to his mama and her spirit to intervene for him. because he had seen her intervene for him before. He had grown up watching her release her faith in many situations. And he, in his desperate time, was crying out to his mother to release her faith once again. And I believe that one of the reasons why things worked out the way they did with regard to the convictions, um, the worldwide protests, everything was because of the spirit of his mother and mothers worldwide that said this is not acceptable and we're not going to ignore it. We're going to respond to it and we're going to raise our voices and we're going to move into action and we're going to advocate and we're going to amplify our feelings about what we have seen and experienced throughout life. As mothers, we have to raise our voices. We have to remember that not just the children we birth, but mankind, humanity is depending on us to raise our voices, to walk out our faith. Yes, mothers are the anchor in many situations. Like really, let's just be real about it. Even when there are fathers in the home, okay, in many cases, in most cases, it is the mother who keeps the family going, right? Who keeps everybody on schedule, who makes sure everybody's fed and clothed and has clothes to wear and gets where they need to be. The mother is the anchor. And when she is no longer here physically, those actions that we remember about her continue to anchor us and to ground us. Even in these moments when we are feeling sad or depressed or maybe even angry that our mother is no longer here, her faith, what she poured into us, still grounds us, right? And so I wanted to share that today because I spoke with a couple of people who said to me, um, you have been like a mother to me. You know, I've gotten multiple texts today from people that I have not even spoken to in a long time. And they say, I could not honor you on this Mother's Day because you have mothered me even when my own mother was not there. Even when my own mother was not available to me, you have been available to me. There is a primal call within a mother to protect her child. There is no sound that compares to the sound of a mother crying out, travailing, weeping, trying to figure out a way to save her child. Excuse me. There is a unique sound that comes out of a mother on behalf of her child, whether it's tears, as I said, whether it's advocacy. You know, I was joking the other day about um, my sons know that when they were wrong or when they are still wrong, I will let them know, no, son, that's not it. You know, that's not what you should have done. That's not what you should have said, so forth and so on. And they also know that I will advocate for them when they are being wronged, even louder. I lost track of how many times I went to the school on behalf of my children when I felt like they were being wrong. So, what I'm saying to you is, all right, my voice is not going to hold up much longer. Um, I feel, and sometimes I catch myself having to pull it back a little bit because I feel like I want to mother people, like even people that don't want to be mothered by me. I just feel like if I see something happening, and this is why, and I'm going to say this and then really I'm going to let you go. Lots of times you will see me on social media reaching out and offering opportunities for us to come together. If you are young, single mothers, so forth and so on, I offer you opportunities to talk with me, to meet with me, to allow me to pour into you what has been poured into me. And sometimes I get upset because people don't respond to that. But then weeks and weeks later, or just out of the blue, I may get an email or inbox or a text from someone that says, I can't thank you enough for your words of wisdom that you post, or when you do your live videos, how you speak to my heart without even knowing it. I don't respond, I don't comment, but I receive what you're sharing. And so this is why I continue to push on the days when I don't feel well, on the days when I have little voice like I have now, um, on the days when I'm hurting, I still push because I feel a divine assignment to be that mother to whoever needs me to mother them. I feel a divine assignment to allow my faith to be faith for someone who is feeling that their faith is not working. That's why I'm here. All right. And so I want you to think about, as a mother or as a child, to remember that a mother's voice, a mother's prayer, a mother's faith is powerful. God responds to the cries of mothers. He responds to the faith of mothers. I gave you two examples today, Moses' mother and Hagar, but there are many other mothers. There's the widow in the Old Testament who said, I have just enough meal, flour to make food for my son and then we're going to lay down and die. But God heard her cry, right? And he knew that in spite of the words that she was saying about dying, that she had faith that God was going to provide, and he did. So not only is the Bible full of examples of how mothers uh, intervened and mothers stood on their faith, right? No matter what was going on, they stood on faith that something was going to happen for their children. I want you to remember that today. If you don't get the gifts that you would have expected from your children, if you don't get the phone calls, if you don't get the visits, if you're not taken to dinner, all of that, just remember that as a mother, just because you are created as a mother, you possess within your spirit a faith that will sustain you and your family. All right. And again, I speak to those of you whose mothers are no longer, or those of us, I should say, whose mothers are no longer in the physical realm with us. And I speak peace to your heart. I speak peace to your spirit. I send love your way. And I encourage you to think on the good memories that you have with your mother and continue to walk out the mission that she poured into you and planted into you. All right. Okay, I'm getting ready to go. My throat is really starting to hurt. But I appreciate you guys. I love you all, each and every one of you. And those of you who are mothers, I say happy Mother's Day. Those of you who are children without mothers, I say to you, I will be here to mother you in whatever way I can. To those of us who have children who are incarcerated, I speak peace to you also. Remember that even though they're behind that wall on those concrete plantations, they are still alive. And as long as they are alive, there is hope, right, for their redemption. You all have a great day. Keep me in prayer as I pray for you. I also need to remind you, I'm sorry, my ears hurt. I'm just like a mess with the ear, nose, and throat thing going on. But I'd like to remind you to support the ministry. Okay, the ways that you can support are in the comment. There's so much work to be done in our communities, and realistically, everything that we do costs money. Whether we are in a brick and mortar church building or not, there are still finances and expenses that are needed. So your support would mean so much to me. $1, $5, $10, $100, whatever. Every dollar will help us to continue to do the work that we're doing. All right. Thank you so much to you, those of you who joined me today, those of you who'll be watching in the replay. I love you. And I love you with the love of God. And I pray for you. I really do pray for you. I want you to have a great day. Keep your head up, right? If you feel like you need to let some tears flow throughout the day, let the tears flow and then smile from your heart all over again. All right? God bless each and every one of you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Have a great day.